What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tavion. I'm bringing you back another video, otherwise known as Bullshit with T. This video is going to be talking about trading while working a 9 to 5. So this video is really for people out there who are interested in learning how to trade. You may be trying to trade now, you may be trying to learn right now, but you feel like you're having a hard time trying to find that time to actually put in so you can build more money, build that side income, or maybe even make enough income to where it does replace your 9 to 5. And there's so many key factors to why this video is so important. It's important because, one, when you're working a 9 to 5, the thing about it is you want out of there so bad, especially if it's one that you want to leave. You want out of there so bad that when it comes to you trading, right, maybe on a live or you're on a demo, but regardless, when you're trading after your 9 to 5, because you're like, man, I gotta make this money, I gotta get out of here because I really hate my job and I just know how much money this can make me. This was one of the common mistakes I made when I was trading while working my 9 to 5, because the thing about it was I was so in the rushing mood that I'm like, man, I just want to leave my job tomorrow or yesterday, you know what I mean? And the thing about it is when I was trading, I would over leverage, I wasn't using proper risk, and I was doing all these things just for the sole fact of like, if I just make this much, I can quit this job, right? Or I remember the days I would have that were absolutely amazing where like I'd pull in like $700 a day, $500 a day, sometimes even $1,000 a day. I'm thinking to myself like, I keep doing this same exact thing and then I can leave my 9 to 5, but that wasn't the case. And that's why trading is such a patient game. Like it's patience, right? It's the market. You gotta be patient when it comes to executing. Not every entry is a good entry. That's something that not only I, but many other people have said when it comes to this market. But when you're working a 9 to 5, you gotta learn how to be patient, and you really have to make sure you're sticking to your guns, sticking to what you know, and not doing and attempting these things that you're seeing that everybody else is doing, to where it's like, okay, I'm gonna try this because that method looks like it's gonna get me out of here faster. Like, trust me when I say this, like, I want you, like, especially if you're somebody who's miserable at your 9 to 5 and you're just mentally drained, I want you to get out of that. I want you to be able to make enough money, especially if this is something that you love to do. I want you to be able to go full time with this, but end of the day, you have to understand that the money you trade, that's real money. Like, I know you know that, but like, that is real money. Like, you cannot mess that up. Like, I have, and I'll share a video, this could be my next video, talking about the amount of accounts I've blown and whatnot before I started becoming profitable. But the thing about it is, you really have to make sure that when you're coming into this market and you are trading this 9 to 5, or trading this 9 to 5, when you are trading while working a 9 to 5, you really have to be patient with yourself. You have to understand that the time and day is going to come. But one of the biggest things that's helped me transition, getting better at psychology while I was working 9 to 5s that I didn't like. Every time I was going to work, every time I was clocking in, I would use that, because I was frustrated. I was so frustrated. I would use that frustration, as motivation for me to get home, stay up till about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, back testing, looking for entries if there were any, studying methods, so on and so forth. But that's what I did. I studied. Like, every single day I was studying, especially once I got off work. Like, within a week, I kid you not, I was probably studying 6 out of 7 times out of the week, if not almost 7. But I definitely had those days where I gave myself breaks and whatnot, but I also wanted it out bad enough where I went, I studied during the weekend. A lot of people normally say, hey, it's the weekend, it's time to relax, it's time to chill. For most people, whether it's the weekend, whatever your off day is, you gotta take advantage of that. That's when you really wanna go hard on this. Something else I did, and I do not advise this at all, but I remember when I spent a month and a half, I kid you not, I spent a month and a half literally studying, I'm not exaggerating, 8 hours a day. 8 hours a day I was studying the market and whatnot. Now, the reason I say I don't advise that is because I was burnt out. I was burnt out. Like, I got the information, but I didn't retain, and I retained it for a great sum of amount, but then as I kept going, it fell off. And again, that all just factored into me like, oh, I just want to get out of this 9 to 5. I just want to get, I want to get out. But the thing about it is like, that day's gonna come. It's just a matter of being patient and and compounding that account correctly, making sure that you know what you're getting into before you enter. I was so reckless and careless in a lot of my trades where I was just like over leveraging. I was throwing standards, I was throwing macro lots, I was doing all these things because of course, you feel confident, like, okay, this is gonna be a buy, it's gonna be a sell. But that's the biggest issue is you don't know. Even though you may have, confirmations, confluences and whatnot, which, if you have the more confluences and confirmations you have, the better for the entry. But again, it's not always 100%. You're not gonna always win every trade. I don't win every trade. My mentors don't win every trade. Like, nobody wins every trade. So you are going to lose. So that's why proper risk is so important. But at the end of the day, you got to think about it like this. If you knew, which this is, this is what really put it into perspective for me. If you knew that, and let's say you had a date. Let's say there was a date that said, hey, this is when, as long as you compound your account correctly, as long as you do proper risk correctly, by this date, you will have enough money to where you can leave this 9 to 5, or you can cut down the hours. You can maybe take a part-time position instead and build it, whatnot. It's like, would you do it? Most people say yes. Like it's saying, oh, guaranteed, you follow this, you stay consistent, you're using proper risk, you're not over leveraging, you're waiting for the right confirmations. Would you do that? And most people, of course, would say yes. So that's where we have to put our mind with that. And it's all about seeing the bigger picture, So the bigger picture, besides leaving your 9 to 5, is, goes back to like your why. Like, why do you want to leave your 9 to 5? And I shared this in my first video, as long as I posted it, which I should have. But in the case I didn't, I'm just gonna briefly explain it here. Like, my goal for me is, time and financial freedom, just to be in that position of life where it's just like, I can go visit family, friends, do whatever I want, like go take these trips that most people only dream about. And that's a huge part of my goal, because, I have one life and I want to do the utmost and best that I could do for it, So you have to find out what that is for you. So do you have kids, for family is, are you trying to cover maybe somebody's medical bill? Are you wanting to start your own business? There's so many factors that, that go into this. But when you're working a 9 to 5, this is what I'll say. When it comes down to working 9 to 5, any time that you have after, whether it's before or after, you have to make it happen. So in other words, there were times I was working 2 jobs. I was working 2 jobs at one point, and I would get up early, like early. I'm talking like 4 a.m. to give myself at least a minimum of an hour or 2 to study and back test the market. Because I was also looking for entries around that time, because it's New York. Or even after, like late night, like I told you, said earlier in the video, there would be times I'd be up till about midnight or 1 a.m. So I would do one of the 2 to make sure I got that time in. So in other words, you have to see within your schedule, what can you move around? What is a priority and what is not a priority? Like, for example, do you have to go pick up loved ones or whatnot from when they're off work? Because maybe they're off at the same time, but you get off a little bit sooner, right? That's a priority. You have to go get them. TV's not a priority. Video games, they're not a priority, and anybody who knows me, I was a huge video game head, but not really anymore, but that's where it comes down to, is you really have to establish your priorities. Because once you establish your priorities, and when you want something bad, you want it bad, you do anything and everything you need to do to make it happen. That's again, when you want it bad enough. But that's how you get around when it's just like, man, I'm working this 9 to 5, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. I always say, at least put an hour minimum. 30 minutes if you can do, but you got to give something to it. Because a lot of times the biggest excuse that we give to ourselves is saying, I'm just going to wait till this happens. But the thing about it is, if you're doing the same thing over and over and over, that's what's classified as insanity, cited by Albert Einstein. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting something different to happen is classified as insanity. So in other words, most people will say, I'm going to wait till this happens, I'm going to wait till this happens. But why wait? You're not guaranteed tomorrow. Right? So start today, figure out what that is for you. But hopefully this video helped you out. I try not to make these videos too long, but that's just my quick take on, trading while working a 9 to 5. Is just stay consistent with it. Keep that job. Don't quit that job out of frustration and say, I'm going to make all this money and, I'm telling you right now, that's going to be a huge red flag and no on your end when it comes to finances. So just make sure you're taking care of yourself first, but just stay consistent with it and use that drive. For me personally, I used that frustration. I used that, I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, and that's when I just went in, I just gave every time I could to trading and learning. So that's what I implore to you. So hopefully this video stood out to you and it made a little bit more sense. But with that being said, guys, catch you all at the next video. Peace.